Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Nadia Kanji in Baltimore. A Haitian special committee on Monday said there was a high level of fraud in Haiti's presidential elections last October, enough even to recommend nullifying the results. The committee found that there were 628,000 zombie votes or untraceable votes. The election was also backed by over $33 million in U.S. funding. Our next guest, Nikolas Barry-Shaw, has been following the issue and more specifically the role the U.S. and Hillary Clinton has played in the debacle. He says she triggered massive political unrest by throwing her weight behind former President Martelly in the 2010 election, who stepped down earlier this year and whom many felt was corrupt. Nikolas is a Haiti solidarity activist from Montreal. He just wrote an article for Jacobin titled "Clinton's Long Shadow: Hillary Clinton May Never Be Called to Account for Her Role in Haiti's Ongoing Political Crisis." Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thanks for having me on, Nadia.
The Verification Commission essentially reveals that the U.S. funded a fraudulent election. Can you give us an idea of what the current situation is on the ground in Haiti and how the U.S. is responding to the results of the Verification Committee?
You know, this is kind of the result that everyone was expecting in Haiti. Everyone was hoping for in any case. It confirms what many different Haitian observer groups demonstrated. It confirms what we saw when I was down there with a group of international observers for the October 25th election. That there was a huge number of votes being cast using these kind of political party accreditation cards, and that they really kind of swamped the results, and that the results were not credible. So the reaction has been, I think, favorable from most of the parties, except for those close to President Michel Martelly. And so former President Michel Martelly and his party, Parti Calais Haïtien, has not, obviously been very enthusiastic about the commission from the beginning. They're the party that's suspected of having organized most of the fraud, and they were the ones who had their candidate Jovenel Moïse in first place in the presidential election, which the commission has now recommended to be rerun. So they're obviously unhappy, and they're seeking in every way to discredit the election. As for the U.S., since the interim authorities were sworn in February, the U.S. and the other major aid donors to Haiti have cut off all non-humanitarian aid to the interim government. And the country was already in a kind of financial and budgetary crisis before that because of the mismanagement and corruption of the Martelly regime. So, it's just kind of adding to the pressure on the government to solve the elections crisis quickly and in a way that will please the U.S. So this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination.
Can you tell me about Clinton's role more specifically in Haiti?
Yeah, she was heavily involved in Haiti actually before the earthquake. Haiti was made kind of a centerpiece of the State Department's foreign policy after she took over in 2009. And that kind of role was really amplified after the earthquake and with the huge internationally funded reconstruction effort. In particular, she played a key role in getting Michel Martelly elected in 2011. In the 2010-2011 elections, there were, again, accusations of fraud. There were very low turnout. And according to the contested official results, Martelly had finished in third place. And so he wasn't going to the runoff. But Clinton personally intervened. She flew down to Haiti in the midst of the Arab Spring in January 2011. She made a trip to Haiti and put an enormous amount of pressure on then President Préval to change the election results, to remove his candidate from the race and put in Martelly, because she liked, the kind of program he was offering, this kind of extremely pro-business, pro-foreign investment program that he was pushing. And Préval eventually relented under enormous pressure from the U.S., and Martelly in the second round became president. And all throughout his term, he was supported just extremely, extremely closely by the U.S. ambassador. First Kenneth Merton, and then Pam White, who was appointed by, both of whom were appointed by Hillary Clinton. So his regime really was a total creation of Hillary Clinton.
You mentioned in your article that Clinton is to blame for what you call Martelly's disastrous presidency, but after the earthquake in 2010, the Clinton Foundation raised $30 million for reconstruction projects, and she was involved in industrial projects that helped create jobs for a lot of Haitians. Some would say she supported Martelly's pro-business outlook so that she could work on these reconstruction efforts. What are your thoughts on that?
One of the things that Hillary Clinton did with regards to Haiti while she was Secretary of State was she initiated an attempt to block a raise of the minimum wage for Haitian workers in 2009. So the minimum wage was going to be raised from a paltry 26 cents an hour to the princely sum of 61 cents an hour. And because this didn't fit with the kind of economic development policies that Hillary Clinton at state was pushing for Haiti, she had her ambassador oppose this move. And so they teamed up with the Haitian economic elite and with foreign multinationals that were working in Haiti, Hanes Brand, Levi's, and others who had subcontracting arrangements in Haiti. And they successfully fought this minimum wage increase. And that's something Bernie Sanders during this campaign he made a short kind of press release on his website about this, but the whole issue of Hillary's experience or foreign policy experience as it manifested in Haiti really hasn't been picked up by the Sanders campaign, I think as much as it should, because her record is really quite appalling when you look at it closely. And it's something that the Trump campaign is actually starting to do. So recently at a Trump rally, one of his campaign advisors read kind of chapter and verse from this new book that just came out called Clinton Cash, written by a Republican journalist named Peter Schweitzer. And there's a large section in that book about how people close to the Clinton family, including Hillary's own brother, Tony Rodham, have benefited from the reconstruction efforts and benefited from U.S. policy in Haiti. And he said, we're gonna keep bringing up this issue until the media covers it. And it's obviously, they see the value in mining Hillary's misadventures in Haiti for political gain. I don't think the Trump campaign cares a whit about Haiti, but they understand that what she did there was really quite dubious.
Haiti's economy right now is actually suffering quite a bit at the moment, with inflation at its highest level in years. Do you think the result of the Electoral Verification Committee could lead to a more representative government that can help address urgent issues that Haitian people are facing?
That's certainly what we hope to see. It's going to be very difficult. The Electoral Commission has called for the rerunning of the presidential race, which is positive. But on the other hand, it didn't say anything about the legislative races, the Senate and the Chamber of Deputies races, which were equally, if not more, flawed, and they were happening at the same time as the presidential race. So in those places, President Martelly has a very strong foothold. He almost has a majority in both the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. So it remains to be seen, whether the report will have the impact of rerunning those election races as well. And I think that would be the key to Haiti having the beginnings of responsible government, of a responsive political leadership, which will actually take seriously the needs of the vast majority and not just a handful of foreign investors and the elite.
All right, Nikolas, thank you so much for your analysis on Haiti.
Right. Thanks, Nadia.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.